Is this the beginning of an invisible rift? Why did Taehyung suddenly stop in the middle of the stage, refusing to join in the cheers for Mona Lisa? Even when Jungkook was dancing so loose. Fans were silent, transfixed, even divided. Is this a sign of something deeper? Or is it just an expression of fatigue? Fans gasped. Taehyung refuses to dance Mona Lisa when Jungkook is too engrossed in the middle of the stage. A moment that divided fans. I asked this a form of silent protest or just fatigue? Why did Taehyung just stand still when all the lights were on in the middle of the stage, where Jungkook was dancing as if he didn't want to stop? Why is it precisely in the song that is considered the most shaking, J-Hope's own Mona Lisa? Taehyung chose to take a step back. And why, of all those present that evening, only a small part of the fans realized what was really happening behind the camera? One question began to resonate among the army. Was this just a fleeting moment that happened to be captured on camera, or was there something much deeper and more painful behind the stage lights that night? That night, in a concert that was expected to be a night of celebration, instead turned into a night of questioning. Jungkook, with his seemingly inexhaustible energy, exploded in the middle of the stage. She looked so alive when the music of Mona Lisa began to play. His body movements were precise, his expression lit up. But on the other hand, Taehyung just stood up, not smiling, not following the movement. Not as usual, that moment seemed to freeze time. A fan site camera caught him. Even the short 14-second video immediately exploded on Twitter and TikTok in just minutes. Comments flow like a fast river that has just broken its dam. Some feel devastated. Some refuse to believe Taehyung not feeling well. Are you tired because of a busy schedule? Or is this a silent message that is not said in words? Of course. All this time we know Taehyung as a person full of expression, who can be so deep but also very closed when feeling hurt. He's not the type to explode on stage. He is the type who speaks silently, through the body movement, through the gaze. And that night, his gaze was not focused on anything. He looked at one point, but didn't see. What makes it even more creepy is how Jungkook looks a little glancing at Taehyung shortly after finishing his dance part. The lyrics are fast, but you can't help but notice, as if he realized that something was missing, something that should be there, someone who should be with him. But no, why? What happened? Fans began to uncover various possibilities. Another video showed Taehyung and Jungkook standing side by side before the song Mona Lisa began. There is a small distance, about 2 steps. But the hot topic of conversation was this. Taehyung was seen turning his head towards Jungkook, then looking down.
No smiles. No conversation.
No touch. For those who follow the dynamics of Taehyung for years, this is not uncommon, and behind all that, J-Hope's shadow seemed to stand in their midst. This song is his work, a love art form that he built from scratch. He wrote Mona Lisa with great emotion, like a painting that holds a secret behind a smile that is never explained. And that night, the song was performed, but one member visibly didn't want to be part of the narrative. Taehyung upset about something that wasn't said. Some fans began to repackage old videos. Moments when Taehyung and Jungkook used to be so close. Spontaneous hugs. Laugh during rehearsal. Taunting each other while live. But lately, it seems like something is missing. A shorter look. Greater physical distance. Is this just an effect of each other's maturity and busyness, or are there wounds that haven't healed yet? The surprise came when the Twitter account of one of BTS's stylists shared an indirect story. Sometimes we don't know what happens behind the stage. But as far as I know, a person chooses silence not because he does not care, but precisely because he feels too much. Is this meant for Taehyung? Some fans began to get irritated by the exaggerated allegations. They feel that this is just an overreaction to one moment that can be explained simply: fatigue. However, if it's just fatigue, why only during the Mona Lisa? Why did he look so ordinary before Dynamite? Why is it only when J-Hope's song, where Jungkook shines so much, that Taehyung seems to back off? What exactly is going on in their emotional dynamics? The tension was further felt when the concert ended and backstage videos appeared. J-Hope is seen hugging Jungkook while laughing, whispering something that makes Jungkook smile broadly. But again, Taehyung wasn't seen there. He's usually the first one to give you a hug. Did he come out first? Or choose to be alone? There is one more small hint that gives fans goosebumps. In a V-Live a few weeks earlier, Jungkook had read a fan comment asking when he would dance with Taehyung again.
His face had changed.
He smiled, but his smile was stiff. Maybe soon, he said. But fans know his tone is not as usual, and now it all feels like puzzle pieces are starting to form an alarming big picture. It is undeniable. This is a new era for BTS. After all the members have gone through periods of conscription, solo projects, and pressure from public expectations, they are no longer teenagers full of carefree energy. They are mature men with tastes, wounds, and stories that cannot always be shared. But for fans, moments like this, when one member looks away while the other shines, always trigger fear. Fear of loss, fear of division, fear of something never being said publicly. Is there anything we need to know but haven't been told? Did Taehyung keep something he never wanted to tell? Or is he just waiting for someone to ask? And if so, is that person Jungkook? That question has been hanging over fans' heads to this day. A moment that lasts only a few seconds, but causes emotional effects for days. Maybe even years. And perhaps the most painful thing is not Taehyung's absence in the Mona Lisa dance, but the absence of answers to all the questions that now haunt the hearts of fans. Because sometimes silence is the loudest scream that not everyone can hear. Is this just the beginning of a darker story? Or is it just a small sheet of a long book called BTS, which still writes its chapters in silence? That night never came back. The once deafening cheers of fans slowly dimmed after the silent seconds. Video became widespread. Everywhere, short videos showing Jungkook dancing energetically, contrasting with Taehyung's still motionless figure, went viral in no time. Yet more than virality, there was a surge of emotional anxiety that swept through the ARMY community like a storm in the middle of a calm sea. Even an ARMY senior who is known to be calm and rational writes with sentences that shake. If you think it's just Taehyung tired, you don't know how he talks without talking. It's not about the physical. It's about the heart that wants to be heard. So, what really happened? Why did such a small moment become the center of a long debate that aroused the trust of fans? Is this a form of disapproval, a silent protest against a decision that is not agreed upon? Or is this an emotional reaction to something that he cannot change? Those who watched the concert from the front row gave a live report. One spectator said that before the song Mona Lisa was played, Taehyung had a short talk with a crew member on the side of the stage. There was a serious expression. Even occasionally, he seemed to shake his head. Is it about technicalities? About costumes? Or about her own decision not to dance to the song? An unnamed source said in an exclusive fan group chat, Taehyung looks unhappy since afternoon. There was a change of mood. But he didn't explode, he just dodged. The sentence leaves more questions than answers. On the other hand, Jungkook showed no signs that he realized something was wrong directly. He continued to perform optimally, even at the end of the concert took the time to thank everyone, including mentioning the name of J-Hope with a proud smile. But what made the fans' hearts break was there wasn't a single moment when he mentioned Taehyung directly. Though usually, he is known as a person who does not hesitate to show his closeness to Taehyung on stage. Why not now? Is this because of something that has been said backstage? Are there any differences of opinion in the preparation of the concert? Does Jungkook feel that Mona Lisa is a stage and Taehyung feels otherwise? There was also a video of the rehearsal a few days earlier. In the leaked clip, there is a discussion between the members about the distribution of stage positions when performing Mona Lisa. At that time, Jungkook seemed to propose a solo move in the middle, and there were no objections from anyone. But if you look carefully, Taehyung looks just sitting while looking without much comment. Did he have any feelings of disapproval at the time? And was the decision not to dance that night a small form of refusing to participate in something she felt she wasn't a part of? The surprise was that, the day after the concert, Taehyung uploaded a photo on Instagram. Not a stage photo, not a picture of the members, but a photo of herself sitting in a dark studio, wearing a black hoodie, looking straight ahead with the caption, "Art is honesty, even when it hurts." The sentence shook, not just because it's poetic, but because it feels like an affirmation that what he did that night was a form of honesty. Honesty to feelings that he cannot express in words, and that is precisely where the wounds of the fans deepen. Because they knew that when Taehyung chose not to speak, it wasn't because he had nothing to say, but because he has too much to say, even the night shift. The concert spotlight began to fade from the headlines. But the spark of emotion left behind by Taehyung's silent moment as Jungkook danced is still burning in the hearts of fans. Even after 3 days, the video was still milling around on various platforms with observation after new observation from fans rewatching at 0.25x speed, as if trying to capture the slightest body language that might have gone unnoticed the first time, but a new moment actually reignited the fire that has not been extinguished. In the footage of Jungkook's personal vlog released on their official channel, it appears that he is sitting on a studio sofa at night. Dim lights. The sound of raindrops was faintly heard from outside the window. Jungkook looked at the camera with tired eyes, but honestly, he talked about a lot of things, about how Mona Lisa was a very personal song for J-Hope, about the pressure he felt when he had to perform the choreography at full strength. But there was one part that made ARMY's heartbeat stop for a moment. Sometimes we are so excited about something that we forget to look around. But I learned that even the grandest stage can feel lonely if someone is not standing where he usually is. No need to name names. No need to mention Genesis. But anyone who watched knew to whom the words were addressed. Jungkook looked down, then smiled wryly and said, "If I had a second chance for the night, maybe I'd check on him before I dance." Those words, just one simple sentence, dragged fans into a deeper stream of emotion. Is Jungkook sorry? Did he know something he didn't say? Or is he trying to say it all without saying it? And if Jungkook himself feels like the stage feels lonely, what about Taehyung? That question is beginning to form a new cloudy cloud over fandom. Not because they're angry, but because they're afraid. Fear that something is really cracked and will never come back to the way it was. Some fans even started a long thread on X, Twitter, about Taehyung and Jungkook's attitude change since the beginning of the year. They collected evidence such as, the number of public interactions is decreasing and OV live together since February. Taehyung is often seen with other members. Jungkook tends to be more individualistic in his latest projects. But what made the hearts of fans even more crowded was the statement of an independent concert photographer who wrote in his Instagram story, "I photographed them since 2016. That night, I knew something different." Usually they glance at each other, even when not scheduled together. But that night, 2 worlds, 2 orbits. And what hurts more? It's like they're trying to make it look like nothing happened. That statement reignited all the worries that were trying to be calmed. But just at that point, a shock shook I.N. Wevers, an ARMY man who is quite famous for his messages that are always read by members, writes simple but touching sentences. "If you feel hurt, we are here. If you choose to remain silent, we will stay." And whether coincidentally or not, just 2 hours after that, Taehyung wrote a short reply. "Sometimes silence is the only space left to protect what's real." 13 words. But it was those 13 words that instantly thrilled the entire community. Is Taehyung trying to protect something with his silence? Is there anything he wants to keep from saying anything? Or does he feel that talking will only make things worse? Behind all this, there is a common thread knitted by fans. All signs indicate that this is not an ordinary conflict. It is an emotional friction between 2 people who were once very close. And when close people move away from each other, the feeling is much more suffocating than open hostility. Worse than a fight is unexplained distance. And when the 4th night came after that concert, the fandom world was shaken again. J-Hope, who had been silent all this time, finally posted a picture on Instagram, an abstract painting. 2 figures without faces. One standing, one sitting. Between them there is a stage, but there is no light. The caption is just one sentence. Art conveys even when words cannot. It all comes back to one point. Is all this really just fatigue? Or is it rather a subtle form of protest against the changing internal dynamics, too slow to see, but too deep to ignore? Those who want to believe that this is just a misunderstanding remain with hope. They waited for the moment where Taehyung and Jungkook would appear together, smiling, dismissing all these issues with a hug. But that week passed. No interaction. No shared uploads. Only the pieces of the message are like a puzzle